Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Listen to Pavarotti.
Can I be your superhero?
Hello, welcome to The Revealing. I'm your host, Pavarotti, and I'm here to discuss the Idaho 4 case. And, I noticed that one of my comments in the video yesterday, somebody said, Pav, are you worried about, having content taken down? And, I kind of do worry about that a little bit, but, what are you going to do? I don't worry about things I can't control. And it's interesting, because for those of you that have followed me for a long time, and I can assure you, the only people that's watching my videos here lately are people that have followed me for a long time. And that's because, my videos aren't being put out there for new viewers. And I know that for the last couple of months, I've noticed it. I don't know what I've done to upset the, whoever's in control of that. But the way I always gauged my videos was I keep, when I watch YouTube on my TV, that's how I watch it most of the time, I'm always logged in under the guest account because I want to have just a real look at what people are actually being shown based on, algorithms and whatnot. And considering most of my searches are Idaho 4, and I would say I'm probably one of the, in some cases, the least popular, in other cases, the most popular creator on the Idaho 4 case. Used to, for a long time, whenever I would do a video, I would go to the little home thing and see what's up next, and my videos would be the first or second ones that popped up every time. Over the last couple of months, my videos don't even pop up in the up next on my own algorithms. So I knew that was, had to be by design, because I watch my own videos on there all the time. So I would be my own most popular channel. So you would think it would pop it up next every time. Doesn't pop up at all. Can't find it anywhere in there. So most of the people that watch my videos, I imagine y'all are having to seek them out. But that's okay. That's okay. That's life on that. But here's the deal. For those of you that have watched me for a long time, you know that when I first got into this, I would tell you quite often what drives me up a wall. My pet peeve is those what ifs. If this happened, could this be? Would frats involved? ? I mean, those things always drove me nuts. Y'all know this, and it drove me nuts to this day, is when people just go on there and they just, well, what if this happened? What if that happened? Oh, this could have happened. And they just kind of make up anything in the world. Me, I've always been, tried to be a little bit different when it comes to that. Instead of giving you a bunch of what ifs and let you contemplate, the moon, I've always tried to present the information and then give you a determination of the information I presented. So instead of a bunch of what ifs, I would say, okay, well, let's see if we can't figure this out and come up with a conclusion. Now, by doing it that way, of course, as more information comes out, my conclusions have to change. Anything new that I hear, I look at this thing like a giant puzzle of deduction. And if you change one thing in anything, everything seems to change. But I always like to use deduction on all the available evidence that I have on a particular subject to try to get to the truth and give you a determination. Well, we're going to do that once again in this video, because I've noticed several videos here lately on, well, what if Xana and Ethan were attacked first? Or what, Xana and Ethan. Well, here's what I'm going to do in this one. I'm going to give you a hard determination of what I've come to learn, that unless you do what I've done in this video, you could come to all kinds of conclusions about Xana and Ethan. I'm going to put those to bed. And I'm going to put them to bed with hard evidence. Hard evidence meaning hard forensics. And when you've seen what I've got to present for you in this video, I think you're going to come to the same conclusion that I've come to, because it's black and white right in your face. However, I was going to go through all this evidence in one long video and show you everything, but I think it's better for me to first go through these things individually, meaning individual people. So I'm going to start this video with strictly Xana and Ethan and the forensic reports on Xana and Ethan and what they show specific to Xana and Ethan. And then we'll move to the other two victims, and then we'll put them all together, and then I'll show you the final picture, because the final picture is quite amazing when you sit back and you stare at it. So here comes what I call receipt sheets, so that if anybody questions Pav's finding, giving you everything you need to go verify them. Let's roll. All right, so when we talk about Xana and Ethan, the first big conspiracy around Xana and Ethan, because nobody knows what time Xana and Ethan arrived home. Me personally, if I don't have evidence of when they arrived home, then I use deduction to try to get as close as I can to the truth. Hopefully someday we'll have some evidence that leads us more to the truth. My deduction is not, oh, well, they didn't get home because they were drug in there because they were unalived at Linda Lane at 2 a.m. because somebody played with the audio until it sounded like something that I wanted to hear. That is ridiculousness in my opinion. So we use real deduction of real facts. Time did Xana and Ethan arrive home? Well, we know Dylan, Bethany, and their friend were all at the home watching Vampire Diaries. Their friend said that Ethan and Xana weren't there at that time. The only other two that we can rely on are Dylan and Bethany. Oh, they're liars. Well, I don't think they're lying about this. And we know that Dylan and Bethany testified that they never seen Xana and Ethan come home. Bethany, we can ascertain from her statement, she was up till almost 3 a.m. before she retired to her bedroom. So that tells me the laws of deduction that sometime between a little before 3 a.m. and 4 a.m., Xana and Ethan arrived home. And here's why I say that. Because we're going to go through the evidence that only pertains to Xana and Ethan from the crime and what that evidence actually said. Because theirs is a little bit different than the others. And when we go, just so you know where all this can be found, if anybody wants to double check my accuracy, item number 3 is the first piece of evidence that was tested for Xana. And this is a submitted swab from the bedroom floor, F2, which is the west bedroom, which is Xana's room. And you can see this was pre-screened evidence. It was pre-tested on November the 19th, 2022. You can find this in forensic report number 3. And when you go to item 3, submitted swab from F2 bedroom door, it'll tell you it's a blood swab collected from F2 bedroom floor. So, Xana's room. Looking at it from this perspective, south, west, east, north. Here's Xana's room. This is a swab collected from the bedroom floor that belongs, I'll show you in a minute, to Xana. Now, it's important to note, because a lot of people go, well, this is little blood swabs that they're testing. Where's all the evidence? Where's all the blood? They weren't alive there. All of the evidence that they tested in this case was evidence that was found outside of the crime. So outside of the major portions of the crime, Xana was alive and laying right here in a pool of blood. They didn't test that blood. They knew it was Xana's. Ethan was here in a pool of blood. They didn't test that blood. They knew it was Ethan's. What they tested was all of the small stains that were found throughout the house that were not involved in those major attacks. because they were trying to determine what happened and if there was any evidentiary value. Now, the results from item number 3 can be found in forensic report number 7, dated November 23rd, 2022. And you can see that the DNA profile obtained from item 3 matches Xana kernodle. It's 12.5 septillion times Xana kernodle and nobody else. It was just Xana's blood, nobody else. If there's other contributors to that DNA, it'll tell you. So this was Xana and Xana alone. So we don't know exactly where this stain is outside of this pool of blood in this bedroom, but we know it was inside the bedroom. And that stain belonged to Xana and Xana alone inside the bedroom. So there's our first swab that's just Xana inside the bedroom. Now we go to item number 74. Item 74 is a submitted swab from the second floor table. Now, when it says second floor table, don't get it confused with the ping pong table, because the ping pong table is a completely different swab of evidence. This one is listed as from the second floor study table, which if you look in the handwritten notes, it actually tells you it's the bar cart. So, and the bar cart, just so you know, they had a swab from the top of it, which is this one right here, from a little vase that was underneath it, and from the bottom of it, and those two did not test positive for blood. This was the only one that ended up testing positive for blood where they could get a DNA sample from. And this can be found because the evidence was pre-tested on January 9th, 2023, was the pre-test. This was after Koberger was arrested. And you can see January 9th, 2023, submitted swab from second floor table. Now, that table and the swab was located right here. You can find the results of that on report 26, dated February 6, 2023. And it'll tell you the DNA profiles obtained from items 74, 75, and 78 match that previously obtained from the known reference sample of Xana, 9.25 septillion times. And there's no other contributors. It's Xana's and Xana's alone. So, right here on this little bar cart table, there was a blood sample that came back to Xana and Xana alone. So now we have two samples outside of the major crime, inside the bedroom, on the floor, and on the little bar cart in the corner of the living room. Both of those are just Xana, no mixtures of other victims, and no mixture of any perpetrator blood. And we know that later on, just so you know, there's many samples of mixtures of Maddie, Kaylee, and an unknown perpetrator. And Xana is excluded from all those mixtures. So if this was a perpetrator that attacked Maddie and Kaylee, then they would have mixtures of blood in there. And when I say mixtures of blood, I mean, if Xana was attacked first, like I keep hearing these little videos come out and with no evidence whatsoever suggests Xana was attacked first. If Xana was attacked first and then Maddie and Kaylee was attacked, then those mixtures would be of Maddie, Kaylee, and Xana. Xana's not found anywhere in those mixtures, and there's many of them, and I'll show you that in future videos. So Xana was not attacked first. Xana was attacked by a different perpetrator. That's what the evidence shows. Item number 75. Submitted swab from second floor outside of bedroom. This is evidence that was pre-tested on January 9th, 2023. You can find that in report number 22, 1/9/2023. And this is from the second floor outside of bedroom door. So just outside the bedroom door on the second floor, outside of Xana's room, we've got another sample. 75. 75 is Xana and Xana alone. No other contributors, just Xana. This result is from report 26, dated February 6, 2023. So just outside of the door now, we've got another sample of just Xana's blood, no mixtures. So now look at the trail that's starting to form. Here, 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 all Xana. Item number 78. 78, submitted swab of stain on floor near west bedroom. Swab of stain on floor near west bedroom. Pretest 1/9/2023. Right here, it'll tell you swab of staining on floor near inside doorway of west bedroom on floor 2. So not just near west bedroom, but inside doorway of west bedroom. So you have to look, they'll trick you with these reports if you don't really dive in. That's why I've had to go through notes and everything else to get the right spots. So inside the bedroom near the doorway, we've got another swab. This one, again, 78, 74, 75, 78, all match Xana and Xana alone, no other contributors. You can find these results in report 26, dated February 6, 2023. So now we've got another stain just inside the bedroom on the floor near the door. A pattern is starting to form here. Now we go to item 125 and 125.1. 125 is submitted swabs of stains in west bedroom on floor number 2. Second floor, west bedroom, Xana's room. This evidence was pre-tested in March of 2023. Pre-tested. Report number 29 reflects it. March of 2023. And it tells you these are swabs of stains on objects in west bedroom on floor 2, markers T and U. And then it goes on to tell you that marker T is submitted swab of stain on trash can in west bedroom. Marker U, submitted swab of stain on chair in west bedroom. Pretest 3/6/23, report 29 if you want to verify. So we've got 125 is actually broken into two samples, 0.1 and 0.2. One is marker T, submitted swab of a stain that's on the trash can. One is marker U, submitted swab of stain that's on the chair. So when you go into the bedroom, I don't know exactly where this is at, but you've got a swab on the chair and a swab on the trash can. Result report number 31, dated 4/17/23. 125.1, 125.2. This DNA profile is 12 septillion times more likely to be seen if Xana is the source. There's no other contributors. It's just Xana. Just Xana. So now we've got more stains all inside the bedroom, outside of the major crime that's likely cast off from a knife, y'all. And when you look at the patterns, you've got the major blood from Xana here, but then you've got all of these other cast off stains that are just Xana, not Xana in an unknown perpetrator like you'll find in the other samples. Not Xana mixed with Kaylee and Maddie like in the other samples. So if Xana was attacked first, then when the perpetrator attacked Maddie and Kaylee, you would not find all the other samples around the house that are Kaylee, Maddie, and the unknown perpetrator, and Xana's excluded. If Xana was attacked first, she would be in that mixture with the other two. This tells you that Kaylee and Maddie were attacked by the same individual. But Xana was attacked by a completely different individual altogether. And I believe once I'm done with this, you'll clearly understand what I mean when I say that Maddie was attacked first, Kaylee was chased downstairs, and at the same time, other perpetrators attacked Xana and Ethan. It's plain as day once you get through the forensic reports. Now, item 31. Item 31 is submitted stains on the edge of the half wall. Evidence pretest was on November 23rd, 2022. You can find it in report number 8. This is going to be the only sample of Ethan outside of where he was attacked. And I believe this is going to be blood transfer from the other perpetrator that attacked Ethan. And this report was done, swabs of stain on half wall, 11/23/2022. Swabs of stains on top edge of half wall on floor number 2, markers D and E. So a couple of stains on floor number 2, markers D and E, on the top edge of the half wall, right here, somewhere in this area. And both of those stains are Ethan. It's 968 octillion times more likely to be seen if it's Ethan rather than unrelated individuals. Now, there was another DNA profile in there, but it was so minute that due to the low levels and limited data, no conclusions can be made to the minor contributor. When you get to the other samples, they make all kinds of conclusions about the minor contributors. This one, there's not enough to even test. So this is likely going to be Ethan and a perp, in my humble opinion. And that is found in this area, and I believe that's after that other perp attacked Ethan. So when you look at Xana and Ethan, this is all the forensics that come back for Xana and Ethan. There's nothing else. Ethan's major attack happened right here in the bedroom. Xana's major attack happened right here in the bedroom. There's all of these samples of just Xana, no mixture. And there's one sample of Ethan with a tiny minor mixture right here. It tells you what happened, y'all. Xana and Ethan were in the bedroom. Xana comes out when she's hearing Kaylee be attacked in the living room. She comes out to about right here, and then she gets attacked by the second perpetrator. They fight her all the way into the bedroom as the other perpetrator runs in, dispatches Ethan, then helps them finish dispatching Xana, and then they get blood transfer as they come out. So this could be Ethan and a minor contributor of a perp, or it could be a minor contributor of Xana, because this same attacker likely helped this attacker finish off Xana. Plain as day. So I think that should finally put to bed the Xana and Ethan was attacked somewhere else, brought back to the house. Xana and Ethan were attacked first. Yeah, no. Xana and Ethan were attacked in the house, Ethan in the bed, Xana outside the bedroom by different attackers that attacked Kaylee and Maddie. And there you go. Proven as close as anybody can prove it using forensic evidence. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Post your comments, thoughts, criticisms. Till next time, Pavarotti is out.